I believe that I am the best person for the job of President of the United States. My unique talents give me the ability to be assertive and diplomatic at the same time. I'm a person who will spike the conversation, who will get politics rolling and stimulate new questions and new answers to our current political dilemma facing our nation. I believe I have a keen understanding of the economy and how to improve where we're at relative to other nations around the world. I believe that our goal at America's Third Party was to create a very strong platform in which would propel the American people forward with new opportunities and a new possibility of creating a better nation, a cleaner environment, and less war. I believe that I am the best person for the job of President of the United States. My unique talents give me the ability to be assertive and diplomatic at the same time.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to America's Third Party. I'm right in the middle of sorting out the news. We're going to be going to all of the different subjects tonight under the sun. What a great time to be alive, huh? Our country's never been in a more disturbing state of affairs politically. I'm David Sponheim. Welcome to America's Third Party. Today is a day we have to remember is filled with controversy. Ex-Pompeo advisor contradicts the former boss in the impeachment inquiry testimony. That doesn't surprise me, considering Pompeo has openly admitted to being a liar.
I was the CIA director. We lied, we cheated, we stole. It was like we had entire training courses. It reminds you of the glory of the American experiment.
Whatever that means. Now we have other people like Kevin McCarthy arguing that Trump's removal would undo the 2016 election even if Pence became president. I'm quite shocked that Kevin McCarthy is saying these things, because remember in 2016, Kevin McCarthy was saying he met with Paul Ryan and they agreed to not tell anybody, but this transcript came out and apparently they were talking about how there's two people working for Russia. Kevin McCarthy told Paul Ryan Russia is basically controlling Donald Trump and Dana Rohrabacher. This is testimony in written transcript, and they have audio proof of this. Yet Kevin McCarthy is now backing Trump. Well, I guess he has to do that as the minority leader of the House. So, oh well. Either way, we're going to find out more of what's happening in the news tonight. Let's get into the show and figure out where you guys are at. I'm a former Democrat, and I really don't like the way the Democrats have evolved, making them more and more leftist as we go. I was just listening to an NPR show today talking about the Democratic debates and how Pete Buttigieg is moving up, and obviously Joe Biden thinks that he can hang in there way past Iowa because he believes that he's the winner for a long-term goal against Trump, and he's right. The stats show that Biden could beat Trump. Of all the candidates, Biden is the one that could beat Trump, and he's right about that. He doesn't have to win Iowa. Meanwhile, Pete Buttigieg is moving forward, and I just never imagined the Democratic Party moving in such a strange liberal direction as I've seen it, catering to the left at all levels, becoming communistic. And that's why I started America's Third Party in 2008. And I'm very disturbed that the Democrats have become so completely liberal, it's beyond belief. And I don't like the way that Trump has been, literally taking the Republican Party into racism land. Kind of a strange world we're living with Trump. And Trump hasn't done very well long term with even his businesses. When you look at his track record, he's a loser. For your information, all his casinos filed for bankruptcy and went out of business. One man, 1.6 billion. He actually has 2.6 billion in shared debt. There's no way you can call that guy a self-made billionaire. I mean, this guy is completely making money left and right as a president, too. All right, we're going to be dealing with a couple things. Hang on, let me just go and post a threat here I have to deal with. Yeah, we have threats all the time from various organizations, and we have to process them because the NSA requires us to keep some records. Mark has to keep records for his chat for 18 months, same with iVlog, because of the threats that come in. But yeah, they're processed every day. All right. This is Paul Ryan at home after relaxing and working out. Yeah, I mean, he got out of the big buzz of the Beltway and really wanted to, take a low profile because he literally told Kevin McCarthy and others that they shouldn't talk about what they just said. They should keep it quiet. This man needs to be investigated. He shouldn't have a cush life retirement salary of unbelievable proportion. I think they get $186,000 for life per year. But Paul Ryan said keep it all in the family, and he actually told the guys in that meeting to crush that information that Kevin McCarthy said that Donald Trump and Dana Rohrabacher worked for Russia. We're talking about before the election here. So Paul Ryan's on record trying to manipulate the public's view of Donald Trump. And that's indictable. Yeah. So if he's enjoying his time right now at the, Planet Fitness, wherever the hell he's working out, enjoy it while it lasts, because if I were president, I'd be looking into an actual trial against certain people that could have warned us about Donald Trump's close relationship with Russia early on and didn't do the right thing. And many Republicans are going to be asking themselves, why have they been so fooled by this man who's continually making money on the White House? I did the numbers, and Donald Trump has made $110 million a year from the proceeds from people going to his hotels in D.C. and the Secret Service having to go to all of his golfing hotels every time he goes golfing. $110 million. He didn't need a $400,000 salary. That's why he gave it up, because he knew he'd be making $110 million on the White House per year. It's crazy. He's going to clear $500 million in 4 years, just being our president, which is total conflict of interest. Now, I'm concerned that, hi Max, welcome. I'm concerned that Greta Thunberg is getting way too much coverage, and people like Leonardo DiCaprio, the Illuminati puppet that he is out there parading her around as some disciple of pure environmentalism. And Greta hasn't mentioned at one time, not one single time has Greta mentioned the chemicals that they're causing the atmosphere to be destroyed with. She's never mentioned the words weather modification or stratospheric aerosol injection and all the things that have been happening right under our skies on a daily basis, causing clearly modified weather. Now, and I don't want to get into the word climate change because I know a lot of us have differences of opinion on that. We'll call it climate problems. Okay, but we have had climate problems and we are seeing it every day. And these trends may not even be specific to our time, and they may not even be something that's a crushing problem. But whatever they're doing in the skies needs to be talked about, and she never mentioned it at all, and neither did DiCaprio. So these people are obviously covering up the biggest lie on earth, that we're somehow responsible for this. We didn't cause this problem. The people that dump these chemicals in the air caused this problem, and that's what should be addressed. Swedish climate activist Greta Thunberg has lots of fans, and DiCaprio is one of them. You know, he never married. I wonder if he's thinking of grooming her as possibly his wife when she turns 18. You know, they kind of look alike. Unbelievable. She's the poster child for the New World Order. Exactly. Good point. And we know this is a practice that's been going on for almost a century. I mean, they've got this technique where they put a girl with braids and rosy cheeks and red cheeks out there to make us all concerned about anything. Hitler did it. It was something Hitler did. The same, veritably same thing. Okay, so I'm definitely the no chemtrail guy, but I also believe that we need solutions to fix this problem. So that's why I'm in favor of air filtration, which Greta doesn't mention. And I also believe that we need to rapidly move toward a very low-cost water filtration system. That's something that I represent. Greta doesn't even mention these things. So we got other stories that need to be looked at right now. Thanks. I'll take that Bernie Sanders story in just a second. Okay, there we go. Okay, Bernie Sanders. He slams Apple's $2.5 billion housing pledge. Bernie Sanders is the guy that's trying to promote this idea of charging big, rich, mega billionaires a huge amount of taxes. He wants to charge Jeff Bezos $9 billion a year in taxes when his profit's only $13 billion. I'm open to talking about that. I'm not gonna not talk about it, but now he's going after Apple. He's going after him, slamming them for wanting to spend $2.5 billion to address the housing crisis. Apple is funding an affordable housing investment fund as well as a fund that helps first-time home buyers with mortgage assistance. But Sanders sees Apple as a company that doesn't pay their fair share in taxes and therefore contributes to the California housing crisis. How confused can a person be? I mean, Apple's trying to do their best to get $2.5 billion in the hands of people who need a place to live in California. And this guy thinks every corporation is out to get this guy. And he's worth, what? He makes $2.3 million a year. Bernie does. He's in the 1%, and he's actually laughing at all of us. He doesn't really care. And how come the Democrats aren't really attacking the corporatist states? You know, even Bernie doesn't even go after the corporatist states of America. We need to focus on that. Why are corporations so powerful and have taken over our Democratic and Republican Party? That's more of an issue. There's some bad news out there for people who are big believers in the media. They lied to us. Believe it or not, there's photographs of Jeffrey Epstein just a few days after he was supposedly killed in jail. Yeah, this is a picture of him in his typical blue shirt that he wears daily from a drone camera that was taken right off of the coastline of his island post-Dorian. The post-Dorian hurricane that happened, this drone was flying over, and it's on the Rusty Shackelford site, but you can see he's literally standing out there with his maintenance guy looking up at the drone casually. Like 10 days after he was released or supposedly died. Now you have to ask yourself, the news story now, the coroner is saying that he was killed after he already said he had suicided, so he's flipped his testimony. One of the coroners, Michael Baden. But he's staring at you right there. He's going to look up at the drone at 2:39 right here. And there's a picture of him I showed you earlier, but he tips his head very slowly up into the camera right there and then into the shadow. Now, I don't have the equipment to amplify his face, but his face is in the shadow there, and I think we could get a full-on picture of his face without any alterations if we put a really good view of that, like a Photoshop view in high resolution, and we could probably get a better picture of his face. But that definitely is Jeffrey Epstein on his island. And that begs the question, why are they lying to us left and right? Now they're saying he was killed. No, he's still alive. Whoever died at that particular time doesn't match the photo of Jeffrey Epstein. You can see his nose is curled. He has a curved nose. And the cheekbone has got damage on it, implicating the guy was probably beaten up and stuck there. It's probably some bag person. And his hair was, or rather his ear doesn't match it either. I mean, so there's no match here to the Jeffrey Epstein story. So clearly they're up to no good. And now we hear Hillary Clinton is approached at the Trevor Noah show. You know, he took over for Jon Stewart, Trevor Noah, and he actually had an interview with Hillary Clinton. We played you on our last show where he questioned her, did you kill Epstein? I mean, of course she's going to say no, and of course then she trivialized the whole thing. And Trevor Noah is turning out to be the biggest shill out there, who's a token black man who's been put in a position where he's supposed to be funny, and he obviously isn't. Yeah. Isn't that a good photo? Yeah. But that's better than the one you sent me earlier. Scissor Fight found this one. And thanks, everybody, because we're really on top of this. We're not ignoring it. Okay, we've got a couple other links here. Okay. Bringing in the news, bringing in the news. We shall go rejoicing, bringing in the news. Okay, Wall Street Journal. America's Syria exit improves Iran's fortune. Interesting. You know, ironically, Russia's winning there too.
The Kurds know how to fight. And as I said, they're not angels. They're not angels. If you take a look, you have to go back and take a look. But they fought with us. We paid a lot of money for them to fight with us, and that's okay. They did well when they fought with us. They didn't do so well when they didn't fight with us. So I view the situation on the Turkish border with Syria to be, for the United States, strategically brilliant. Our soldiers are out of there. Our soldiers are totally safe. They've got to work it out. Maybe they can do it without fighting. Syria is protecting the Kurds. That's good. We are, and by the way, every player hates ISIS. Everybody we're talking about. Syria more than us. Russia more than us. They've done a big number on Russia. And we're over there fighting ISIS, but they're over there fighting ISIS too. They can handle it, and they should handle it. We can fight our own battles on our own territories.
Ironically, pulling out of Syria is exactly what Russia wants. So Trump is playing right into Russia, and now he's playing right into the wealth of Iran. They're benefiting. In the tortured history of the U.S.-Iranian relations, no American leader has been intent on making life difficult for Iran as President Trump. But the great paradox at the moment is that Trump's decision to pull back out of Syria actually is making life easier for Iran in a host of ways. So Russia wants to support Iran, and of course, Donald Trump is doing everything he can to help Russia. So it does make sense that Donald Trump is turning on his own Republican supporters who want him to keep troops in Syria and doing exactly what they want, Russia wants. Interesting. You don't want trannies in the military? Okay. Well, Sarah and I are both split on the issue, kind of. I was of the belief that if we bring them back, we may be facing, back pay issues, because Donald effectively got him out of the military. But I see the point of non-discrimination at the government level. So I'm standing in the middle on this issue. I don't want to have any discrimination at the government level of anybody's sexuality. So if Pete Buttigieg wanted a job in my administration, I would certainly, hire him if he was worthy of that job based on his merit, not on his homosexuality. That's just one of the many things that, I've compromised on. But I don't want mom and pop businesses to be affected by discrimination laws. I'm not leaning in the direction of the left and want to be openly concerned about LGBTQ. I'm not in favor of LGBTQ. I'm actually completely in the middle on this. I don't want them discriminated against, but I don't want to endorse this and trivialize and normalize deviant behavior. I've never been involved in any gay relationship, so it's not that I want to change your views, though. You got something on Epstein, a bombshell? Okay. Yes, Project Veritas has some stuff on Epstein. I'll get to that in just a second. Thank you, Sir Paul McCartney, everyone. Thanks, Sir Paul. I just don't want people to be discriminated against at the government level, because I want to offer people jobs, because there may not be many jobs for transgenders in the private sector. And I certainly don't, want to see people displaced from working, any type of a job in the government. You won't be judged for being Caucasian like you were when Obama was president. Not many Caucasians got jobs in the government. That's racial prejudice that Obama engaged in big time. All of his Secret Service agents were black. So you won't have that type of racial barrier. We'll have black, white, Hispanic, Asian people and mixed genders in our government. That's what I propose. No, I think we've already done the daylight savings things, Emma. We don't need to go back and force people to work another hour. They've done their job. Cool, you got the 70s video of LA. That'll be fun. I'll add that tonight. Yeah, I drove around Los Angeles in the 70s, so I know what it was like. Hey, slow down a little bit for me there. I'm just one thing after another. I can only get to so many stories. I've got a couple I'm still working on here. Iran strikes initial deal to rebuild Syrian power grid. See? That's another way in which Iran is benefiting from Trump's departure from Syria. I wanted us to get out of Syria, but I wanted to leave a good, strong, highly developed, weapons-free safe zone in my place, not the kind that Trump is saying he's created. Oh, we have a very good safe zone, no problem, the Kurds are really doing very well. I don't think so. Hardly. Okay, let's do this too. Man, I got a lot of things I got to do during the show just to make things happen, but I opened up my incognito picture. Should get me a full New York Times article. Good. Trump taxes appeals court rules president must turn over 8 years of tax returns. Now, this can't really go very far. They say it can bump up to another court if needed, which will buy Trump some more time. But inevitably, Trump is going to have to show his 8 years. And once he does, I'm basing my theory that Trump is hiding his taxes so much that there's got to be some damning evidence in there that will lead to a full impeachment in the Senate. That's my suspicion. No, I'm afraid we can't make Greta, she's born in another country. We can't make her our vice president. All right, thank you for that. Appreciate it. He will be impeached. Trump is already planning on being impeached in the House, so that shows you how guilty he is. My guess is he will resign in the next 6 months, and I've been pretty accurate with all of my predictions. I was the one that said that he would be impeached eventually, and I was right. I was the one that said that the Republicans would never overturn Obamacare. I was right. I was the one that said that Brexit was going forward. I was right, way ahead of Trump. I've been right on almost every single point. I'm pretty sure Trump's going to resign in the next 6 months. And if you're saying he's going to be running again, I don't think so. So I'm urging all of you Republicans who support Trump to recognize that my ideas have been copied by Trump and that getting behind a third party is actually a good thing. And this way you really will see accountability and a person going after the deep state. Because I will make the necessary arrests and prosecute the people that Trump didn't do. I'll be working on a case against Hillary Clinton. I'll be working on a case against Barack Obama and his deceptions and fraud. I'll be working on a case involving the JFK assassination. The papers have been suppressed by Donald Trump. He hasn't revealed the CIA documents that should have been revealed after George H.W. Bush died. He's already... He's going to run all... It doesn't matter. He won't be running in 2020, even if he is impeached in the Senate, especially. After the tax, perhaps the tax returns are involving embezzlement, money laundering, donations from foreign government officials. Exactly, Eric. These tax returns in particular are relating to criminal cases, not civil. So this has got a lot more merit to it. You can't suppress 8 years of tax returns in a criminal case. And that's exactly why this is moving forward. Trump couldn't stop it. It was just a foregone conclusion. So once the tax returns are shown, they're going to have to, they're probably going to reveal something very damning. Because Trump openly said early on, oh, I'll gladly show you all of my tax returns, no problem. And then now he won't show any to anyone. That's a sure sign he's guilty as hell. But we'd like to also investigate the death of Justice Scalia. Ironically, Donald Trump did not even investigate that murder. And that would be going after the deep state. I would be opening up a deep investigation of the death of Justice Scalia. That looked very damning. I would be investigating Poindexter, the guy who owned the ranch that Scalia was at, where Scalia died. And let me tell you briefly how Scalia died, just since we're on the conspiracy binge tonight. He died with a pillow over his head, with his hands folded over his arms like this. And all his bed sheets were very neatly tucked in around him. That's not in any way a heart attack in bed. That's a pillow being put over a person's head, and they were, suffocated. And what's really strange is they got rid of Justice Scalia's body right away. They took it over to a mortuary and had it embalmed immediately. And if this wasn't enough to get rid of the blood evidence, they then cremated Justice Scalia, and he was a Catholic. Catholics don't want to be cremated. They generally want to be, buried. They cremated him against his family's wishes, and that never became public, just to get rid of any evidence that he was killed. So they got rid of Justice Scalia, and who did? Probably the Democrats. So then why didn't Donald Trump open an investigation into this if he's really going after the deep state? So the Trump taxes may very well show something we don't know. At this point, the 3-judge appeals panel said Trump's accounting firm had to comply with a subpoena by Cyrus Vance Jr. So Trump can't hide his tax returns anymore, and if they are as damning as I think they are, they'll probably lead to some more evidence. 2 guesses why Trump moved to Florida, right? 1, to evade the taxation. Right. Donald Trump has changed his official residence from New York, where it's been all his life, to Florida.
The real question on Mr. Trump, first, I believe my hypothesis is Mr. Trump changed his residence for legal purposes. He is in the middle of a lawsuit where a number of agencies, including the Manhattan District Attorney, are trying to get his taxes. I believe he thinks this is he's resisting releasing his taxes. He's in litigation. I think his lawyers think this will help his legal case, where he can now say, well, New York doesn't have a right to my taxes. I'm no longer a resident of New York. My guess is that's one of his motivating factors. Another motivating factor could be the anger that he has caused towards him in the state of New York by his abusive behavior of the state of New York.
Yeah, and Andrew Cuomo, governor of the state of New York, is very personally angry at Trump on many different levels. So this is going to go on for sure. Now, other people have made accusations that Donald Trump sexually abused them. Many women have come forward, not just Karen McDougal and Stormy Daniels. E. Jean Carroll accused Trump of concocting a swarm of related lies after her allegation went public of sexual molestation in a wardrobe room at a department store. Yeah. She's a New York-based advice columnist claiming that Trump assaulted her in a dressing room in a Manhattan department store in the mid-1990s. But Trump has denied knowing Carroll, and she believes that the statements made by Trump about her constitute defamation of character. Smeared her integrity and honesty and dignity by concocting a swarm of related lies to explain why she would make the incident up. So she's going after him, and she's filed a lawsuit. Carroll's account of the alleged rape at Bergdorf Goodman and Fifth Avenue, which she said occurred between the autumn of 1995 and the spring of 1996, had been published in New York Magazine in June. Excerpt from her memoir released the next month. So we'll see. I mean, so many women. Remember Justice for Katie? Yeah, that girl that claimed she was raped by Donald Trump at Mar-a-Lago with Jeffrey Epstein in attendance. That story you can't ignore, except for the fact that she had to drop the charges because she felt that her life was being threatened. She claimed that the Trump people threatened to kill her if she said anything. So she dropped the charges. I mean, all these things are pending, which more than implicate Donald Trump, and he's never admitted to his wife that he even had an affair, which is, again, a classic example of an unrepentant womanizer engaging in illegal activities left and right. Former U.S. envoy to Ukraine says she was warned and she'd been targeted by Trump, that she'd be targeted by Trump allies. Marie Yovanovitch's testimony at the House impeachment inquiry has been released. A lot of the Democrats are publishing a lot of this stuff now. It's going to be an open case. We're going to see it on TV this week. So the whole impeachment trial is going to be open. Republicans won't be able to say they're being kept out of the closed-door sessions. Now that everything's out there, 12 people have testified against our president. Maria is one of them. And she's basically said that there's been a smear campaign against her. A transcript released Monday that Ukrainian officials had warned her in advance that Rudy Giuliani and other allies of Trump were planning to do things, including to me, and were looking to hurt her. Wow. Now, she was considered one of the mainstays of our Ukrainian foreign policy, and a very stable person at that, not some weird person in any capacity. She's always been very close to the cuff, played everything by the book, and Trump just basically attacked her and made her feel threatened. Wow. This is just coming out left and right about Trump and his illegal ways, misuse of power, obstruction of justice. Hey, Greek God. Yeah, it was a pretty good weekend. I enjoyed the weather here. We had a really nice weather pattern. Very beautiful. Wasn't too rainy or cold. It was just perfect. So obviously we have solutions to America's problems that other people don't. And that's what makes this party appealing to both the Democrats, who are seeing the Democratic Party lean too left, and the Republicans, who don't want to be characterized as racists. Well, I've got some baggage there because I did a blackface video impersonating Barack Obama, but it's not going to hurt me politically, just like it didn't hurt Justin Trudeau when he allegedly had some pictures in blackface done. So I had to do everything I can in 2008 to get noticed, and I did an impersonation in blackface of Barack Obama in order to satirize him, because he truly was a total liar and a fraud. It wasn't too chemically. Yeah, it was pretty nice. And of course, we get the jets. They stopped flying over the weekend, so we have a really beautiful weekend here. It's nice that the Navy does stop the flying over the weekend. I appreciate that. You have relatives in Cuba? You want to see your grandma? I will let people go to Cuba. Yes, absolutely. Oh yeah, I want to open up a doorway to trade. Albeit small, I want to be able to open up that doorway to trade that Obama had tried to open up. But I want to be able to give people the opportunity of sharing their life with their relatives that they can't even visit. If any of you want to meet your old your great aunt, your great uncle before they pass away. Dave, you got a comedy movie. I do? Really? Let's see it. Where is it? Twitter has completely removed the hashtag Epstein cover-up from the USA trending list, Sir Paul said. Okay, Sir Paul, you sent us a link from Veritas. I'm going to take a look at that now. Thank you. Sir Paul McCartney, everyone. I guess you've taken an interest in the Epstein thing too, because you weren't stung by that. You didn't. There's no photographs of Sir Paul at Epstein Island. Unlike Bill Gates, you've never seen snow, really, Pirate Salty Dog? You should check it out once in your life. You'd catch a little snow up in Washington, but it wouldn't be so bad you couldn't drive on it. But if you made a trip to Seattle, you'd probably see snow in the winter. Okay, I'll get to that in a second, Max. Let's go to Project Veritas, which came from Sir Paul McCartney. The Sir Paul McCartney. We may have interruptions during the show of Donald Trump having a sniffling problem.